Welcome to The Architecture of Genius, where we explore re-engineering the human brain for ultimate mastery. We delve into how the mind achieves extraordinary performance. For centuries, genius has been viewed as a myth of innate talent. However, the reality is that mastery is the natural evolutionary design of the human brain. It is rooted in deep observation, intense focus, and biological adaptation through practice, a process 6 million years in the making. Intelligence evolves in 3 stages: animal instinct, which is fast but rigid; human rationality, which is flexible but slow and prone to being overwhelmed; and finally, masterly intuition, characterized by speed, fluidity, and a fusion of instinct and reason. The transformation occurs in 3 phases. First, inside discover your calling involves reconnecting with primal inclinations. Next, outside, the ideal apprenticeship focuses on skill acquisition and deep observation. Finally, inside ultimate mastery fuses the rational and intuitive. Discovering your life's task is the subterranean root of mastery. The key insight is that an inner force seeks to guide you toward your true purpose. This is not mystical, but a visceral biological inclination that provides the energy needed for decades of practice. The architecture of motivation contrasts the false self, driven by external validation like money and status, with the true self, driven by primal curiosity and visceral joy. The true self is resilient and makes intense focus feel natural. Phase 1, submit to reality, begins with the apprenticeship. The core principle is to drop your ego after formal education. The golden rule is to value learning over money, seeking environments that offer the harshest feedback for skill acquisition. The apprenticeship engine runs on 3 modes. Deep observation is passive, focused on absorbing dynamics. Skill acquisition is practice mode, reducing complex tasks to simple, essential skills. Experimentation is active mode, testing your ideas and building resilience to critique. The cycle of accelerated returns begins with embracing tedious practice, reducing cognitive load, and developing microfluencies. This sparks pleasure and interest, eventually triggering the flow state, which fuels deeper practice and unlocks variations. Frustration is just a signal of processing complexity. Moving against the grain differentiates the amateur path, which avoids pain and repeats easy skills, from the master's path. The master invents rigorous exercises to target weaknesses and finds pleasure in overcoming the pain through resistance practice. The 10,000-hour threshold is where sustained, intense focus leads to a qualitative change. After this time, the brain organizes massive amounts of information effortlessly. This frees the prefrontal cortex for creative and playful exploration, resulting in a surge of cognitive fluidity. The alchemy of mentorship involves a cycle. Submit and absorb your mentor's knowledge. Adapt their ideas to your circumstances. Distinguish yourself by focusing on their faults to incubate your unique voice. And finally, surpass your mentor, as true mastery involves outgrowing your teacher. Phase 2, awaken the dimensional mind. The transition occurs as skills accumulate and the mind seeks activity. You must move past the comfort of established paradigms. The creative active phase involves expanding knowledge to related fields, making new associations, and reforming rules to suit your authentic spirit. Conventional intelligence is passive and regurgitates familiar information, being constricted by habits and fearing ridicule. Dimensional intelligence is active. It transforms digested knowledge into original creations, blending expert discipline with a childlike spirit, and exploring multiple dimensions of reality simultaneously. Cultivating negative capability, coined by John Keats, is the ability to endure mysteries, uncertainties, and doubts. Masters suspend judgment, open their minds to radical perspectives, and allow serendipity to fuel new associations, overcoming the need for certainty, which is the greatest disease to the creative mind. We now enter Phase 3, Homo Magister, where ultimate mastery is the flawless fusion of the rational and the intuitive. The master's reasoning is guided by intuition, springing from intense rational focus, granting access to a higher form of intelligence. The 20,000-hour threshold marks a permanent alteration of the brain. After this rich, intense focus, the master stops seeing individual parts and gains an intuitive grasp of the whole. Evidence, like Jane Goodall thinking like a chimp, shows this cognitive fluidity. The fingertip feel is the complete internalization of the subject. In Phase 1, there is separation. In Phase 2, integration begins. And in Phase 3, fusion is achieved. The subject is no longer external. It is integrated into the extended nervous system, thinking with the body and mind fused. The ultimate synthesis is the master's brain. Deep learning physically alters the brain, making the boundaries between you and the world fluid. The ecosystem of a master's brain is so richly interconnected that it mirrors the complexity of the external world, achieving the ultimate return to reality. The path is yours to carve. The blueprint involves discovering your calling, submitting to reality in 10,000 hours of practice, transforming rules through the dimensional mind, and attaining the 20,000-hour fingertip feel. Mastery is the result of choosing to endure reality's friction